Usually when we cover royal shows around the country, we're focused on the competitors and exhibitors. But spare a thought for the judges, who spend more time in the show ring at these events than anyone, and who are left with the often tricky job of picking the best from the rest. Paul Klaric went along to the Royal Adelaide Show to meet the next generation of judges who are in a competition of their own.
I've been doing it since I was probably 4 or 5 years old, starting in the little bobby calves.
I like breaking cows down and I like talking about cows.
Yeah, it's just very addictive.
They're the best in their field, the young judges that is, handpicked from across Australia for their expertise. These young dairy cow experts all won the Best Young Judge Award at shows in their respective states, and this year it's the Royal Adelaide Show's turn to host the national finals.
We need to train young judges for later on in the years for senior judges, and this is an opportunity for those guys to get that experience.
I wanna be a cowboy, and you can be my cowgirl.
Participants are all aged under 25 and are judged on how they place 4 cows in 3 different breeds. They're also judged on how they explain and justify their decision, and they have a language all of their own.
She's not the biggest udder in the class, but it's so silky and it's so welded on. The teacher just sang it so beautifully.
She just displays the style and the balance that I'm looking for, and I believe she's the most correct animal in the class.
She just lacked the width coming all the way through the rump, through the pins, through the rear udder. Thank you.
The Young Judges competition has been going for decades.
It's a training thing, and it leads into life skills and then into perhaps jobs.
It's now undergoing a resurgence in popularity since being introduced into some schools.
Yeah, it's been a bit stagnant since rural youth demise, and we've recently got into high schools and agricultural high schools, and talking to the teachers, and the teachers have put this in their curriculum, and the kids are really taking it up. They're really keen on it. I suppose it's something different to everyday schoolwork. And kids love working with animals, and the animals respond to that too.
For these judges, it's been more of a family tradition.
My parents have always been keen at showing cows. Firstly, they started showing Guernseys at the Royal Hobart Show, and then about 30 years ago changed to Holsteins, so they've always encouraged us to do judging and handling as part of the competition.
I got into it through the West Australian Youth Cattle Handlers Camp, and also through the Denmark Ag College. And yeah, they took me along to shows, taught me some skills, and then used my natural instinct a bit to look at quality cattle and base it on my opinion.
Just growing up in the dairy industry, you just meet people and like they drag you along to shows just as a bit of a help, and I guess that's where I got the bug, and it's just progressed, like just snowballed, I guess, from there. You just get into the showing side of things.
This year, young judges from New Zealand have also been part of the competition. They each have their own ideas on what to look for, although perhaps surprisingly, good-looking legs are high on the wish list.
You want one of good dairy character, which means she's refined and she looks like she's going to milk and not. She shouldn't be a beef cow. You know, there's quite a clear difference between a beef cow and a dairy cow. She needs to be sound, of good legs and feet.
I like a cow that can give a lot of milk, but she's got to be able to last a long time. So quite often a cow that can give a lot of milk doesn't last very long because she's not correct enough through the feet and legs. She's not good enough through the udder. She doesn't have enough frame to carry us.
I look for overall balance, for dairiness, for good teat placement, good mammary system, and definitely good feet and legs.
For Olivia Millhouse from Hawley Beach in Tasmania, the winner's ribbon brings her one step closer to her ultimate ambition.
I would really like to be a judge all over Australia, and I would like to probably maybe do judging internationally in the long term.
But it's not just on the dairy cattle circuit where the judges are being judged. Their beef cousins are being closely watched, and there are competitions in the meat, sheep and merino fleece pavilions too. For some, the competition brings back memories.
I can remember going in these competitions myself back in the 60s, which is a while ago, and I'm sure they're a lot better standard of young competitors than we were.
But there are always tips on what to say and how to say it.
Check that the necessary apparatus is there for him to be a stud sire. I think there's some wonderful talent there, and it'll just be a matter of time before we've got a really good bunch of young stud breeders on the market.
Ben Simons is a fourth-generation wool and meat producer from Dunedoo in New South Wales.
Good structure, good depth of barrel, it's got good even crimp, very soft wool and very even, carries through well underneath.
He won his first state judging title at 15.
I've probably been judging sheep for about 4.5 years, competing at local shows and then going to regional finals and then off to Sydney and then to here.
Overjudge in the Merino Fleece competition, Trevor James from Landmark, says these competitions are carrying the future of the industry.
With people moving into other industries, etc., people moving to cities, etc., I think it's becoming just imperative that these competitions are run, and I think they're really developing great young people, and you see them grow as they go into these competitions.
And this overjudge did his best to confuse the younger breed.
I made it very difficult. I felt guilty afterwards, but I made it very difficult just regarding the... I've get through at every challenge I think they could find if they ever judged a competition ever again. So we firstly hand-picked them out of 300 fleeces, so we made it very difficult.
And in a turn-up for the books, the national winner is originally a city slicker who's only been judging fleeces for just over a year.
Originally from Brisbane, I grew up in the southern suburbs of Brisbane. I went to the college for agriculture college in Longreach for a couple of years, and now I'm working as a Jillaroo at Powella Station at Aramac.
At the end of the week's competition, Queensland and South Australia tied for the honour of having the most winning young judges, beating last year's winner, New South Wales.
Oh, it feels good. Feel good beating New South Wales at anything, including the Origin.
These guys also prove that not every young person is into video games.
I'm terrible. I fall asleep when I sit at the computer or something like that. So, no, I've always been an outdoors person, and I've always been since I was a kid, growing up on a dairy farm.
I just don't have time, and just always outside, real outside person, and spending time with my cows and breeding quality cattle.
Not really interested in them, rather be out the paddock doing sheep work or working in the shearing sheds and stuff like that.
And most prefer the more traditional form of social networking that events like this provide.
Just like the camaraderie of like the people you meet and the friends you make, they're friends for life.
While the competition is friendly and the standard is high, some of the older judges are feeling just a little bit threatened by the youngsters nipping at their heels.
These sort of competitions scare me because it makes you really feel that they're right with you, and some of these kids are. They're very experienced. They've done it for a few years and they've cottoned on well, and I'd say at least half of those guys could walk out into a show ring now and judge cows.